Trust and believe me, honey, as long as you keep asking yourself, is this the best love can get for me? If your answer to that is no, let the side chick or chicks have him.
Head high, chest good, but catch that frame, cause beauty is my name.
What up, beauty gang? Halfrican Beaute here, and today I'm bringing you guys like my very first story time, I believe, ever on my channel. I've actually been inspired to do this because me and Josh have been doing a lot of story times on our couples channel, and a lot of people really loved them, and I was like, I've experienced a lot of trials and tribulations in my life, whether it be friendships or boys or just whatever. So I have a lot of stories and experiences that I feel like if I share, it can help somebody else learn things that I did not know at that time, or just, you know, just share with my beauty gang. So I was like, might as well introduce that side of myself a little bit more. So I'm bringing y'all my very first story time, and because of that, obviously you can tell by the title, I have to make it juicy for y'all. But let me just say this now, it is not my current boyfriend. Josh and me are Gucci bandana. This is definitely my first ex, actually my first ever boyfriend. We are gonna hop into this video, but before we do, if you are new to Beauty Gang and you ain't never heard of us, sis, we don't know where you've been at, but we are so glad that you found us. This is Beauty Gang is hella stupid lit over here. If you don't believe me, go and check the comment section below and you'll see multiple Beauty Gang members vouch for the fact that we're hella stupid lit. So after that, go hit that subscribe button and the bell button so you're notified each time I post a new video. And without further ado, let's hop into this story time, ladies. So y'all, you know what's crazy? As I was like bullet pointing notes this morning of what I wanted to touch on in the story time, I realized this is 10 years ago that I am talking about this. My memory is here and there in terms of the situation because it was literally a decade ago. This is my sophomore year of high school. Me and my boyfriend have been together for I think a year. He was a year above me. So I'm a sophomore, he's a junior, and the side chick is a freshman. Oh, child, let's take it there. So there is like this saying that is my absolute favorite when it comes to a woman's instinct and gut feeling. I kid y'all not, this entire story is that. Like, you will be like, really, Issy? And I did. I felt it. I knew it deep down inside. But I definitely, 10 years ago, Issy was the type that needed to like physically see stuff for myself to believe it, no matter who told me what. You know, when you're just in that very young and naive stage. Again, this was my first boyfriend, kind of like first everything. So just very gullible and naive and willing to ignore all signs and all that until I like hear it from so-and-so's mouth. So the climax of me finding out about this side chick, that was probably the most hurtful day. However, it didn't catch me off guard at all. So there were times that I would like peep them together in the hallway, or you guys know how body language is everything. You can read somebody's body language between it just being like platonic friends and it being something a little bit more. I still get annoyed sometimes when I think back on it of why I never said anything. As his girlfriend, I had the right to say something, but it was also so complex too because I feel like a lot of us girls get upset with the side chick, although she did deserve the negative vibes and energy I had towards her because she was definitely aware that we were together. I do feel like us girls tend to also kind of write off the guys like, oh, she's a homewrecker, she did this, she did that, and completely ignore the fact that he opened the door to a side chick or homewrecker entering the relationship in the first place. So anyway, again, he was a junior, I was a sophomore, she was a freshman, and I went to private school, and my school literally had like 300 people total. I had a very small school. Everybody was in everybody's business, and that's why I was able to see a lot and peep a lot. Yeah, I didn't say anything, but anyway, we had 300 total between freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. It was a mess. Always drama. Everybody always knew everybody's business. Maury 2.0 or something. It ended up being a quarter where me and this girl had the same gym class together, and I guess I must have been peeping stuff before the gym class because I already didn't like her going into that quarter and realizing she was in that class with me. Can't remember exactly like moments that happened. I just know for sure I read body language from her and energy I did not like at all, and I was so focused on reading her body language and energy I wasn't even focused on my dudes. I'm not 100% sure if homecoming was before or after this gym class. I want to say homecoming might have been before. Homecoming, again, me and my boyfriend are together. We picked colors to match each other, and I remember in particular she didn't have the same exact color as us on at the homecoming dance, but she had a very similar one, and it was kind of dark. The lighting was weird, so literally had I not seen like a picture later on, which I'll touch on, seeing that her color was slightly different, I would have been like, but anyway, so me and my boyfriend show up, then she walks in and I'm like, this heifer has our color on. And I got so blown that night. I just remember feeling some type of way, like, did this dude really tell her to wear the same color as us? Maybe I actually should have did another story time on like this same boyfriend that I'm talking about before we were official. My freshman year, he wanted to take both me and another girl to homecoming as his dates. Like, he wanted 2 dates on his arm. If y'all want a story time for that, give this video a thumbs up and comment below, hashtag 2 dates, and I will bring y'all that story time because it's technically out of order. But anyway, when I saw that, it was kind of a triggering thing because I remember freshman year when he was trying to be on games with the 2 dates thing. So obviously when I see her come into homecoming with a very similar color to what we were wearing, I started thinking like, are they secretly matching? Like, it was just a mess. I never really confronted him about that. However, a couple days later, a picture was posted on Facebook of them 2 together and then her friend and the dude she was messing with. So let me give you guys perspective. Remember, the girl is a freshman. Her friend that was in the picture with her was also a freshman and happened to be one of my teammates, but we weren't cool like that at the time. But anyway, they were both freshmen, and then the 2 guys was my ex and this other boy that was in his class. So it was 2 juniors and 2 freshmen. As I remember seeing this picture when I was scrolling on Facebook, and it was your trigger. It was a freaking trigger because the caption said to the T, us, exclamation point, hearts, so cute, right? So that's like, I mean, they can technically get away with being friends on that. But then the comments was the 2 girls commenting on the picture, and one of them said, "Aw, we look so cute together. I love you guys a lot." The whole "we look cute together," but it's 4 of them in the picture, 2 girls, 2 boys, kind of on some coupled up stuff. Mind you, me and him were together. That is weird, is it not? Is it not weird for your boyfriend to be in a picture with 2 other people who are like dating and talking to each other? It's known around school that these other 2 are like an item, and then the caption is talking about us, so cute, and then somebody comments, "we look so cute together." You don't say that about friends. I ain't never taken no pictures with no guy friends and been like, "Oh, we look so cute together." That's just not the lingo that you use for platonic friendships. That was a very strong red flag. I guess since we're on the topic of homecoming, I did later find out because I was like a sophomore, so maybe like, what was I, 14, 15? I wasn't able to be out till ungodly times of the night. My mom was definitely lenient, but like, she wasn't crazy, all right? So I wasn't out real late. So saying that to say, I guess after homecoming, and we might have went out to eat afterwards with some people. He took me home, and I was under the impression that we were going our separate ways as in going home. That didn't happen. Later on, I found out some months later that after homecoming, after we went out to eat and I was taken home, he actually met back up with the side chick and the girl that was in the picture. Them 4 that was in the picture, that other girl, the side chick spent the night at her house that night, and they were all in the same neighborhood. So the side chick spent the night at her friend's house, old girl's house, who was in the same neighborhood as my boyfriend. So I find out later that he actually went over there to kick it with them slash her, and that's all I really know from there. I don't really think that any speculations need to be made because, you know, it's kind of just a given what went down, all right? So anyway, that was a huge red flag that I decided to ignore. Then fast forwarding or rewinding, whatever you want to call it, to me finding out that we're in the same gym class together, and I'm so mad. Well, maybe it's a good thing because I might have gotten in a lot of trouble, but like, do you ever think back on a situation and be like, if I was the person I am today back then, things would have been different? I know for a fact that would have been a different situation, probably not in a good way for me, and I probably would have risked a lot of stuff in terms of me being an athlete and on the right path for my life. Had I been the person I am now and all that stuff was going on, like, I can't even imagine how that would have went. Obviously, I'm a little bit more about that life now at 25 years old than I was at 15, but everything happens for a reason. Anyway, one of the things that she really did that taunts me and sticks with me is, I remember it was one gym class we had, and her friend, I don't even remember, I don't think it was the same girl from the homecoming picture, but it was another friend she had. I remember her and her friend singing this song, "I'll take your man right out the box," and like just the "I'll take your man" song, and that irked me so hard because by then me and her were aware we didn't like each other. She was aware that I kind of had speculation that she was a side chick slash homewrecker. Well, actually at the time I thought it was just her putting the moves on him. Like, obviously in my head I'm thinking the best of him, that he's rejecting her, but this is a girl that just keeps coming back for more. That's the vibe that I got from her. But then later on I find out, so in another gym class after the whole "I'll take your man" thing, one day we had gym class inside. It was just a chill day. We didn't really have anything planned, and she pulled me aside. We went to go talk in the corner, and she told me everything, y'all. I guess like the tension had just built so high between us. We knew for a fact we didn't like each other, but we had never even talk to each other. She knew that I was his girlfriend though, and that's why I feel like I still had the right to be like feeling some type of way towards her. However, all that energy and anger that I had didn't need to be just directed towards her. She wasn't the one I was in a relationship with. That gym class in particular, I'll never forget her pulling me aside and telling me everything. And I can't remember, you know what, before that, I'm sorry, I'm jumping everywhere with this, y'all. I'm gonna pause that. Actually, this is another thing that was like, not even a huge red flag, but just like a dagger to the heart type thing. So the side chick was a cheerleader, and she was a cheerleader with this girl that I had like history with. Like, I think we went to kindergarten together or grade school. I don't know, before high school, we went to school together, so we knew each other prior. We weren't close, but we were cool, okay? So me and that girl actually had a class together, and I believe this is probably before me and the side chick had PE, so it might have been the quarter before. Me and that girl had some type of course together, maybe like history, or let's say history. One day, the side chick pissed off her cheerleader teammate, which is the girl I went to grade school with. Something about like a wig, taking off her wig and cheerleading practice or embarrassing her, something to that effect. A wig was flown, and I guess on some playful stuff, but the girl that I went to grade school with didn't think that was funny. She embarrassed her. So she told me one day in class, she was like, before the side chick pissed her off, I guess she had logged in on the girl I went to grade school with's phone into Facebook and forgot to log out, and was still logged in by the time she pissed old girl off. So old girl ended up going through the side chick's Facebook messages and just all her stuff, and I guess saw messages between the side chick and my dude, and then ended up telling me in class the next day. And she basically was like, you see, there's some things in there that like, he's definitely on something, they got something going on. And again, rewinding back to the fact that I was very naive, refused to believe anything anybody told me unless I saw it for myself. So I ended up asking my old grade school classmate, I was like, is there any way that you can get her to log back in? Because she was all about getting revenge, so I knew she was about that life. I was like, is there a way that you can like play buddy buddy with her to get her to log back into the Facebook? Because she had logged out by the time she told me, and I was like, I want to see it for myself. I was like, is there any way you can like be buddy buddy with her, get her to log back in so that I can see the messages myself? I don't know how she made this work. She played a role, honey. She deserves an Oscar. I don't know how she got that girl to log back in her Facebook when they were like beefing with each other, but she did. Brought us to class the following day, and I got to read everything, and I'll never forget the thing that hurt me most. I guess the side chick grandfather passed away, and she was talking about it with my ex through their Facebook messages. And I remember like my freshman year when I first opened up to him about my dad passing away, which I rarely ever did, especially back then. He had said basically, oh, I wish I could hold you right now and console you right now. I'm so sorry. Like something to that effect. I kid you guys not. The same exact words he used for her when she opened up to him about her granddad passing away. When I saw that, my heart just like broke, because obviously something that deep and that intimate and personal, you would think that he would at least have the decency to hit somebody with something different. Like it almost felt like, what is my importance to you, or how much do I really matter if you're using the same exact words you used on me, your girlfriend, with a side chick? Ugh, that hurt so bad. So crazy enough, I can't even remember what I did with that information after reading that. I don't think I said anything. I think I finally was ready to say something when the side chick came up to me for gym class. So fast forward back to that. Came up to me, told me everything, was telling me, I guess he told her like me and him weren't doing too well relationship wise, which was a lie. We were good, at least in my book. He told her some other stuff too that I cannot remember exactly. I just remember she spilled all the beans. And by the end of that conversation, it might have been the last period of school, or it was one more period afterwards, and I had plans. I was worked up. Everybody saw like I was ready to go off on him after school. And that's why I think there might have been one more class period before school was over, because somehow word got to him. Me and him always like met up at the lockers after school, kiki, yada yada yada. That day in particular, he dipped. He was like out of there. Like somebody definitely got word to this man that I was gonna go off on him. So I never got like my time to shine and just go in on him. I don't even know if I wanted to do it publicly, but I just know I wanted to confront him, because finally it was no longer me like wondering, is she tripping? Am I tripping? Am I seeing stuff that's not really there? Blah, blah, blah. Everything was spilled out, and it was true, and it was factual. So I was just hot. I was hot, y'all. And I remember seeing his car pull off out the school parking lot. And I was like, all right, somebody told him. What I wish I would tell you guys at the end of the story is that I was done with him after that. But I'm not gonna lie, that's not the truth. And that's what's so annoying about that time period in your life, because you're just so, it's not even a matter of being naive or gullible at that point, because I even had facts and I still stayed with him. And I think that's why I hate that he was like my first, because he got such like a deep vulnerability and dependency from me to be with him that I like accepted almost anything, including knowing that he like cheated on me multiple times. This is just one. I would say this girl in particular was probably the main side chick case that I dealt with him because it was so close to home and at school, but there was other stuff he was on too. But yeah, anyway, I do remember that situation ending in terms of me confronting him. Like, I was so headbutt back then, so headbutt. I don't know how many of you guys know of the TV show The Game with like Derwin and Melanie. That was my show. The show reminded me so much, or I don't know why it reminded me. My ex wasn't really like him at all, but it was just the whole he was a football player, yada yada yada, which my ex was too. I think he loved that show too, and we would talk about it sometimes. So that day when he dipped off from school, I ended up sending him a long Facebook message. Why I didn't send him a text, I don't know. I thought you were gonna be the Derwin to my Melanie, and it was so extra. I did confront him about it. I told him that she told me everything, yada yada yada, and I remember the messaging basically ending with me saying like, either you end it with her now or I'm done with you. And I guess he had said something to the effect of he'll end it, which I don't know for a fact that he did. He probably really didn't end it right when I said it, but it did end up falling off at some point, and me and him stayed together. But honestly, just even thinking about it, it makes me so grateful for the man that I am. The man, let me be very clear on that, the man that I am with today. Josh has like opened my eyes so much to what a real relationship looks like and what somebody appreciating you and loving you and being loyal to you really looks like, because unfortunately my ex and all that BS is not the first and only time I went through some mess with a guy where he just could not be loyal, or he always wanted his cake and candy too, and obviously that does something to a girl's self-esteem of feeling like you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough. Like, there's so much that us girls tie into how these boys treat us, and it's so frustrating, and that's something that I really want to get out of doing these story times with y'all. Although yes, it's juicy and it's tea, I also want y'all to learn like from my experiences, so hopefully you can avoid them, or hopefully like it'll resonate with you if you're currently in a situation like that. Like, she's right, like she got better, I deserve better, you know, because I feel like the older I got, there was a lot of situations where I had to like result back to my parents' marriage. Although my dad passed when I was pretty young, like 12 years old, I still got to see a decent amount of how he treated my mom with nothing but love and respect always. Something that I always like to tell people to like think about and ask themselves when they're in like pretty messed up situations and relationships is this as good as love can get? That question helped me get out of my last relationship before Josh that was like really toxic, but I loved the dude so much I was willing to just like fight through it. And one day I had to sit back and ask myself, in the context of what I knew love was based off how I saw my dad treat my mom, is this as good as love can get? Feeling like I can't trust somebody, always feeling like I gotta look over my shoulders, always worrying about, am I making him happy enough? Am I giving him enough attention? Like, love is not supposed to be that hard. It's not supposed to feel like if you're not always on your P's and Q's, there's a risk of him stepping out on you. It's not supposed to, love, that's not as good as love can get. And I'm so glad that I finally have found something that I feel is as good as love can get for me. I feel like I found that top quality love that I truly deserve and always knew was out there, because I saw what my dad and mom had. So just a couple of takeaways that I want to go ahead and give y'all based off this story time. One is to always believe somebody's true colors. By that I mean, I knew from jump, before me and my ex was even a thing, that he was a playboy. Like, hella girls liked him, wanted him. He was one of those popular boys in school that everybody wanted. So I already knew what I was stepping into with that. But I think at that age especially, I felt like I can be the exception. I can be the one that makes him faithful. And you know, like, us girls love a project. We love almost like a challenge. We want to prove to ourselves like, I'll be that person, you know, I'll be that girl. But you gotta believe somebody's true colors. A lot of the times players ain't gonna change unless they want to change. So I should have believed his true colors from the jump, even when I just had a crush on him from a distance, instead of letting it get as deep as it was, because I knew. Like I even said, there was a time he wanted me to be one of his 2 dates to homecoming freshman year. If that wasn't a sign, I don't know what was. But that's one thing that definitely took away from the situation, of believe people's true colors when they show you it. Another thing is definitely to listen to your gut. Like I said, I could tell from body language and just energies exchanged between them that was definitely more than just platonic friendship. I've seen platonic friendship, I've been in platonic friendships with opposite sex people, and that is not at all how it went. So listen to your gut. A lot of times, a lot of times, not only me, my other girlfriends who've experienced stuff with guys, we always know. There's always an inkling, there's always that thing in our head like, that's weird. We always know when a guy is cheating because his patterns change, he acts act different, he act funny, and we as women just know. We just sidekick low-key. Listen to that intuition and that gut. If you think something is up and something is wrong and something is off, 9 times out of 10 it is. You're not tripping, you're not over exaggerating, and if you confront him and he tells you are, then you really know you ain't tripping, okay? Next thing you take away is that I personally feel like I would have did it back then. I should have let the side chick have him. No guy is worth fighting over his attention, fighting over his love, fighting over what the heck was I even fighting over in terms of this dude? Like, when I'm thinking back on it, I didn't really like gain much from that relationship. It is just so frustrating because like that was my first everything, and that was probably the problem. I had shared so much of myself with him. It was hard for me to take myself out of that. And gosh, those first lows and first heartbreaks is a mess. So I know it's way easier said than done to just let the side chick have him or whoever the person might be if you're resonating with this story, but trust and believe me, honey, as long as you keep asking yourself, is this the best love can get for me? If your answer to that is no, let the side chick or chicks have him, because he ain't gonna treat them no better than he treats you. Like, what he's showing you is as good as what he has to offer right now. So why would you want, like, you know what I mean? Like, you deserve better, sis. You deserve better. I deserved better. I finally got it. You can get it too. And then the last thing that I would say I definitely learned from this, and I want y'all to take away from it, is that you should never question your beauty or how freaking dope you are based off a dumb dude who don't know what he wants or wants his cake and candy too. Like, that's something that I really feel like took me a long time to realize and accept, because I think a lot of times us girls tie our beauty into how a guy treats us, or how faithful he is and committed he is to us, when our beauty has really nothing to do with it. So if you've been dogged out before, if you've been cheated on by someone that you really loved and cared about, and you're constantly questioning what you did wrong, please never ever for a second let it pass your mind that your beauty isn't adequate enough for someone to be loyal and respectful to you, or that your personality wasn't bomb and dope enough for someone to give you 100% commitment and loyalty. It is never that. It is never you when boys act foolish like that. So I just want that to be extremely clear, and I really want y'all to take that away from the mess that I experienced back then, because it took me a long time to build my self-esteem and confidence up, especially back then in high school. You don't really have it. You're just learning yourself, figuring it out, and that is such a vulnerable time, unfortunately, for a lot of us, because we are in the process of trying to like build ourselves and figure out who we are. When you run into bad situations, whether it be relationships or friendships, it plays a huge toll on your self-esteem and your confidence and all that, to the point of adulthood after you're far removed from it. And I feel like just now, almost 10 years later, I'm learning to be extremely confident in myself and realizing how dope I really am. Like, I'm a really dope person, and I'm working on not needing anybody's validation or input on helping me realize that. So that is all I have for you guys for my first ever story time. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you want more, hashtag below more story times. I definitely have a lot more for you guys, and eventually I'm gonna get better with like the details on stuff too, because this was again 10 years ago. But again, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this story resonated with you in any way, or you found it super relatable, if you're open and willing to, please comment below what your experience was, if you had a similar one, or something that you learned through being like cheated on and getting out of a relationship with someone. Anything you have in regards to something similar to this story time, please don't hesitate to comment below what your experience was and how you came out of it, or what you went through, if you are open and willing. And yeah, y'all, that is all I have for you guys. Really hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you are new. Beauty Gang is clearly lit. And until next time, guys, bye.
Move your body cause you're loving the way that you walk. Move your body if you're loving the way that you talk. One time if you're confident. Clap 2 times cause you own it. Never gave a damn about what they say, cause you handle all your business on a day by day. Head high, chest up, and catch that frame, cause beauty is your name.